Hi, welcome to the Pitbull Bible Online APPT database. Today what we're going to learn is how to use the search feature and also learn why it makes our database so much more versatile than any other database available out there. You may be thinking, well, what the hell's so special about the search feature, but that's what we're going to show you. First of all, to understand how the database works, you have to understand that these navigation tabs are what control the database. Whether you want to go watch videos that I've put out there, read articles that I've put out there, read the blogs, look at the drug index, participate in the forums, whatever. Every time you click on a tab, you will see a set of sub-navigation menu links that are relevant to that tab. Since we're talking about pedigrees and searching pedigrees, we're going to go into the pedigrees area, and you will notice that a whole new set of sub-navigation menu links have popped up, and this is where it all goes down. You can add a bulldog, you can search bulldogs, you can add a breeding, search breedings, even put in test breedings that don't actually enter data into the database and ruin it with a bunch of theoretical nonsense, but you can still see your breedings. But we won't get into any of this right now. What we're going to talk about is searching bulldogs in our search bulldog feature. When I click on there, I get into where this machine runs from. And so for you guys to use it to your advantage, you have to know how it works. This right here is one part of the search engine. This right here is the other part of the search engine. Okay? This part here is for very quick information. Okay, I know what my dog I'm going to look for is going to be dog number 2. So I'm going to put Poncho, that's him, and then I go search for the dog. Bam, it brings me up Poncho. Very simple. The other way that works is if I want to make Poncho a favorite, I can just go boink and make him a favorite. Okay, so that when I use the search feature, Poncho is going to be right there. I don't need to remember his numbers. Like, suppose you have several dogs that you really like. You can't really be expected to remember all the numbers associated with those dogs. So if you like them, just make them favorites, and that'll pop them down here. That way, if you have 5 or 6 dogs you like to look at, you just highlight them and go bam, right to the dog. Okay, and that'll bring you to Poncho, or whatever dog you want to make favorite. If you want to unfavorite the dog, just unfavorite by doing that. However, when you do that, it's no longer going to be in this aspect of your search engine. Okay, so this part of the search engine right here is for very quick, direct information, but it really doesn't tell you a lot. This part of the search engine is for very complicated combinations of inquiries, which in turn brings you back a lot of vital information that you might be interested in. For example, I could just put Poncho in here and look for Poncho like that by name, and when I go in and I find all the dogs with Poncho, I can choose the one I want. For me, it would be Vice-Grip's Poncho. If you're a Tant fan, you might want Tant's Poncho, whatever. But suppose I wanted to do something even more interesting. Well, let me go back up here a second and let you know something very important. If you're searching for a dog, typically only entering the dog name is what you want to do. I don't want to put, let's say, Vice-Grip's Poncho, and the only reason is you might be a bad speller, or whoever entered in the dog might be a bad speller. If I enter Vice-Grip's Poncho with an S and somebody else entered it with a C, I won't get the dog. If I look for Garrett's Champion Jeep and somebody put him in as Crenshaw's Champion Jeep, I won't get him. Matter of fact, if you use the champion designation, you won't get anything because the champion designations here are not part of the name. They're stored in the database, and that is what is going to become relevant here, and I'll show you in a minute. But let's say I want to find Jeep. I just put in Jeep. Okay, if I'm only looking for the particular dog Jeep, I put in Jeep, and then what I'll get is a list of the Jeeps from which I can decide which one I want. And there's Crenshaw's Champion Jeep. I just click Jeep, and I've got him. Okay? So, back to the search feature. If I... that's just direct, everybody can do it information. But here's what makes this thing cool. Suppose I want to find females that have red coats, red females that are champions. Okay, This is Performance Champion, Show Champion. Confirmation Champion is ADBA, AADR. You can also find Weight Pull Aces, Obedience Trial, Best in Show, Gamest in Show, POR, ROM. There's a lot of things you can do. But suppose here I want to find Red Female Champions. Well, my clicker's not working too well. There we go, Champions. I click on that, and now I've found all these champions have red coats. Suppose I want to say if they also have red noses. I can narrow the search down even further. Here's where data entry becomes valuable. If you guys aren't entering this stuff in on your dogs, the coat color, the nose color, whether it's one-time winner, champion, or whatever, we can't retrieve the data for you and give you these interesting spreadsheets. You have to do that. So that's where learning how to enter in dog data, which I'm going to get into in another video, is going to help you and help everybody make this search engine meaningful. Now, let me back out of this for a second and show you some other interesting things. Now keep in mind, anytime you do a search feature, if you want to do a new feature, you got to back out of this, because if you keep adding to it, you're going to change things around. Suppose I want to find all the best of shows. That's all I want to find out is dogs that have won Best in Show. Now I got a huge list. There's 51 dogs. Okay? Suppose I want to find a list of Best and Gamest in Shows. Dogs that have won both titles. I click on that, and these dogs have won Best and Gamest in Show. Suppose I want to find all the dogs only off of Grand Champion Yellow that have done this. Okay? I'm going to put Yellow in here. I guess I've already used him. And I'm going to do that. Has Yellow produced any Best and Gamest in Shows? No, he has not. Okay, suppose I just want to do Best of Shows. Has Yellow produced any Best of Shows? Well, there's one. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that's the only dog off of Yellow who's ever done that. In fact, it's a different Yellow. It's Yellow Man. That just means people haven't entered in the data. So again, when you come across dogs as you're searching and you see that they don't have all the information, go ahead and add it. If you're adding your own dogs, make sure you add all the information. That way you can pull it all up. Now, suppose I want to find champions off of Yellow. Okay? See all the champions that Yellow's produced. I just click right here. Yellow's produced these champions. On and on it goes. And I can do the same for bitches. Suppose I have Honey Bunch. I could just put Honey, champions off of Honey. Okay, all of these will be off of Honey Bunch, and then there's a honeycomb here, but you can see the ones off of Honey Bunch. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bitches listed off of Honey Bunch. On and on it goes. Various combinations. You can see, you know, again, confirmation titles, weight pull titles off of various dogs depending on what your interest happens to be. You could do champion and ROM, period. Like, who's produced, whoops, it's the wrong one. What am I trying to do here? Alright. Who is a champion and ROM off Honey Bunch? Let's see that. These two dogs. What bitch, what dogs are just champion and ROM period, regardless of who they are? Okay, we got a whole boatload of those. Alright, so whatever type of search you want to do, the search feature in this engine is very complex, and we're going to expand it some more too. We can add other categories as we go along. But one of the reasons why I teach you the proper way to use the search feature isn't just for your edification so that you can pull up a lot of good information, which is important, but also just this part of the search feature here, learning how to look up a dog, like for example, again, like I said, Jeep. Don't look for Crenshaw's Champion Jeep or Garrett's Champion Jeep. Look for Jeep. The only exception to this, and I'll leave you with this thought, the only exception to this, suppose I wanted to look up a dog with two names. Red Danger, let's say. Actually, I did something wrong here. I left champion on there. This mistake is actually good. by leaving champion there, I limit my dogs to champion red danger. There's no such thing. So let me remove this champion criteria. As you'd use the search feature, if you're not getting what you want, look around here and make sure that you haven't left something there that limits your criteria. So let me try red danger again, and now I'm able to find them. So rather than putting Williams with an S apostrophe, like there's 2 Williams red dangers here because one retard forgot to put the apostrophe in there. And again, this is why the next tutorial, which is going to be adding Bulldogs, is so important. Some of you people are going to get yourselves in trouble. I'll take responsibility that I didn't have this video when a lot of you joined, but some of you are just sloppy, lazy people, and you're going to get whacked and culled because I don't want this database cluttered up with any more duplicate pets, and there have to be. And the reason is simply because you're not entering dogs properly. So the first step in learning how to enter dogs properly is searching for them properly. By putting just red danger, not Williams, I see 2 Williams red danger. Now, if I'm smart, what I'm going to do is choose the Williams the red danger that has the most dogs put under it. Even though this one is misspelled, I'm going to choose this one because more work has gone. Well, actually no work. They just have 1 offspring in it. Let me go back. This one has 1 offspring also, so it's a bump. But when you search for the dogs, let's say if I wanted to look up Mayday, for example, I'm going to show you why. I'm going to look up Mayday again. In fact, I could just put May and see what that does. See, there's a lot of dogs with May in there, so I'll refine it further and I'll put Mayday. Well, Mayday's already written, so now I just come with a few. Mayday 2, Dona means Super Mayday. Some retard just put Mayday with no name on it. That guy's going to get punished. There's 2 Miss Maydays. You can see how people make these mistakes because they're not really searching properly. And now there's 2 Grand Champion Maydays. This one here, I can tell by the number, it's 12,000, was entered in by Sangre Nueva Kennels. Well, thank you for adding another Mayday. Very nice of you not to notice the first one. Okay, this Mayday is dog number 170. Obviously, he was one of the first dogs entered. I probably entered him myself. There I go. He's got the 4 pictures. He's got 70 offspring. This is the Mayday to use. So the point of all this is when you do a search and you find that one of the Maydays has more offspring than the other, okay, use that Mayday because he was there first. He's got more offspring. I'm eventually going to delete this dog, this other Mayday, and this Mayday. So when you make this search, you can just tell by the dog number here. This is dog 170. He's been around a while. This dog's 1231. So some retard, Sangre Nueva Kennels, entered this second Mayday, and this guy entered in just Mayday as 13. You know, he's causing me a lot of trouble to have to go in here and fix it because he didn't bother. You know, he just enters Mayday. Man, whatever, Mayday. Just put a dog in there. If you learn to search for the dogs, not only is it a valuable tool for you to pull up information, but ultimately when you add dogs, you're going to learn how to search for the dog first to make sure you don't enter a duplicate dog so that we all can be operating off of the same dog. It makes it better for us all. If we're all operating off the same dog, number one, it's just better. It doesn't clutter up the database, but more importantly, when you use the search feature, and ultimately I'm going to show you the statistics feature, all these statistics matter because they're all talking about the same dog. If there's some statistics under that Mayday and there's some statistics under that Mayday, we're losing some information because of people just not entering dogs right. So I hope this search tutorial not only gives you an interesting tool, but sets up a guideline for when you add Bulldogs, because there is a search feature here. You learn how to use the search. Let me just click in here. You learn how to use the search feature the same way. Mayday. Before I add a Mayday, this instruction says enter the dog's name first. Mayday. Okay? Okay, now you see this Mayday has been taken. So now I'm going to have to, I'll tell you what, if you see Mayday, it says try to use another registered name. I can't add Mayday. I'm going to have to get rid of this guy actually. But suppose I put May. Mayda. If this guy hadn't bumped into Mayday there. Now I'm going to have Southern Kennels Mayday, the S apostrophe S, S apostrophe, no apostrophe at all. You see all these Maydays that people have entered because they just didn't do it right. What does that mean? That means I got to go clean up all this crap. So all of this tutorial I'm teaching you guys to show you where y'all are messing up. And those of you who haven't messed up, who've actually taken the time to read my, my instructionals and have entered in good data, I really do appreciate it. And those of you who have not done so, please go up and clean these things up on your own and learn how to do this right so that you're not only not messing things up for me, but for other people as well, and ultimately for yourself, because we're all drawn from different Maydays right now until I go clean all this up. And so we're all possibly pulling off at different dogs and not really getting the full picture that this database is designed to be able to give us. So I hope the importance of the search feature has been made clear, and I really do appreciate you guys watching the whole series. Thanks.